Hey everybody! So this is my video presentation. Today I'm going to be talking with y'all a little bit about polyvinyl pyrrolidone, so also known as PVP. Polyvinyl pyrrolidone looks like this. Hopefully it's going to flash up on your screen right now. It is another one of the vinyl polymers, so its monomer contains an ethylene group, and then attached to this ethylene group are 3 hydrogens and 1 pyrrole attached with the nitrogen, with the carbonyl group of the pyrrole attached at the 2 position. Like the rest of the vinyl polymers, like PVC or polystyrene, PVP is polymerized through free radical polymerization. And according to BASF, they make their monomer out of natural gas and ammonia, and this monomer is in vinyl pyrrole. PVP is an amorphous polymer, and it is created mostly in an atactic phase. And I found one company that claims that they sell PVP of molecular weight of anywhere between 2,500 to almost 3 million grams per mole. So relatively high molecular weights of PVP can be obtained. It has a glass transition temperature of 160 degrees Celsius, so solid hard PVP is relatively hard and brittle. One of the most desirable properties of polyvinyl pyrrolidone is that thanks to the polarity of the pyrrole side group, it is soluble in polar solvents, unlike a lot of polymers which are soluble in nonpolar solvents. This makes it useful to put in reversible adhesives, and also in certain cosmetics or other personal care items, since it can be washed out with just water or soap. PVP is also considered to be hygroscopic, so it has the ability to absorb water easily. This makes it a great additive in contact lenses to help the lenses not dry out or allow the eye to dry out either. This is also used in the brewing and fermenting process of alcoholic beverages because PVP can reduce turbidity due to its ability to absorb polar imperfections in the fluid. And for those that don't know, turbidity in a fluid, and specifically talked about in terms of like an alcoholic beverage, is that cloudiness that you get that's sometimes undesirable in the drink. The hygroscopic ability also allows it to mix well with plasticizers, which can be used to allow PVP to be made into films. And actually PVP used in flexible films is one of the most common ways that PVP is used today. PVP is also useful in the pharmaceutical industry because since PVP is also considered to be non-toxic, it can be used to increase the solubility of some drugs. PVP can also be found in a cross-linked version called polyvinyl polypyrrolidone, or PVPP. The cross-linking of the pyrrole units allows the polymer to go from soluble to insoluble in water and other polar solvents, but the polarity of these groups still allows the polymer to be hygroscopic, and so it can still absorb water into it and swell up. PVP can also be cross-linked with iodine. A PVP iodine solution is less orally toxic to mammals than just regular elemental iodine, but it still provides the properties of iodine that are desirable, like its germicidal properties. In rats, the LD50 was raised from 400 milligrams per kilogram to 1400 milligrams per kilogram while maintaining its use as a disinfectant still. So a little bit about the history of polyvinyl pyrrolidone. PVP was first created in 1939 by Walter Repp, or Reppy. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but a German guy who was working for BASF. And PVP was actually first used in the battlefield in the first half of the 20th century. So blood plasma is supplied to an injured person in need of blood when blood is not readily available, and it will keep them alive while blood with actual blood cells has still yet to be obtained. But when even blood plasma stores were low, army surgeons in like World War II and in Korea would use PVP to dilute the blood plasma in order to stretch the supplies without allowing it to lose thickness. Another cool little tidbit about PVP is that it was the main ingredient in those first commercial hairsprays of the 50s. So it was PVP that was keeping those beehives sky high. It was such a hit because it was so easy to wash it out with water at home. And I'm going to add this little tidbit in here, and it's not in my little script. But what was really cool is that they started to realize that PVP, because of its ability to absorb water, was absorbing water from the air into the hair and giving it this like really tacky, unnatural look. So eventually, what they started to do was they added to the PVP in hairsprays polydimethylsiloxane, and what would happen is that you would spray that onto the hair, and the polymer mixture would actually create a two-phase mixture on the hair. So it would create two layers. So it would create a layer around the hair that was the PVP. So that would be what would give it the stiffness and give your hair the shape that you wanted it, while the silicone layer would form around the outside and keep water from getting in. So it's what allows hairspray to look a little bit more natural, unlike it did in the 50s with giant beehives. So I thought that was really cool. That was like one of the cooler things that I've learned about PVP in this process. Anyway, a report from Grandview Research stated that the global PVP industry is expected to grow $2.75 billion in 2024. Most of this growth is expected to happen in the pharmaceutical industry, where in 2015, pharmaceuticals contributed to 58% of the 161.8 kilotons of PVP that was produced that year. Other industries that are seeing major uses right now in PVP are adhesives, cosmetics, and also in food and beverage. That's all that I have to say about PVP today. I hope that y'all enjoyed it and that y'all maybe learned a little something. And I hope that y'all have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks, guys.